Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. Liam Vance had learned long ago that the most dangerous enemies were the ones who shared your dinner table. After 20 years in military intelligence, he could read people, spotting deception in the smallest gestures or the briefest glances. But at home, he let his guard down. That was his first mistake. The second was trusting his family. Liam ran Vance Security Consulting from a converted warehouse in industrial Baltimore. He'd been discharged from the CIA after a mission in Afghanistan went sideways. Not his fault, but someone had to take the fall. He built his business on corporate investigations, missing persons cases, and the occasional marital surveillance, a bitter irony considering what he was about to discover about his own marriage. His wife, Sarah, was a successful real estate agent. They had been married for 18 years and had a 17-year-old son, Ben, who was Liam's pride and joy. Ben was smart, stayed out of trouble, and had college prospects. Everything Liam had fought for overseas. A normal American family. Sarah's brother, Mark, was a Baltimore City police detective. For 15 years, he'd been a constant presence at family barbecues and holiday dinners, playing the part of the devoted uncle. Liam had never particularly liked him. Mark had dead eyes and a mean streak he hid behind his badge, but Sarah worshipped her older brother. The first crack in Liam's carefully constructed world came on a Tuesday evening in October. Ben burst through the front door, his face pale and his hands shaking. "Dad, I need to tell you something, and you're not going to believe it," he said. Liam closed his laptop. "What happened?" "Uncle Mark pulled me over tonight," Ben's voice cracked. "He planted something in my glove compartment, a bag of what looked like cocaine. Then he found it during the search." Liam's blood ran cold. "What did you do?" "I recorded it on my phone. I started recording when I saw it was him pulling me over. I just thought it was weird." Ben had the whole thing on video. Mark putting the bag in, then acting surprised when he found it. "Where's the phone now?" "Hidden in my room," Ben said. "He arrested me, Dad, took me to the station, and Mom picked me up after bail and she said maybe this would teach me a lesson about the kids I hang around with. She believed him over me." Liam stood slowly. This wasn't random. Mark didn't plant evidence on his own nephew for kicks. This was targeted, calculated. "But why?" "Where's your mother now?" "Upstairs," Ben replied. "She said she needed time to think about our family's reputation." "Dad, why would he do this to me?" Ben asked, his hands clenched into fists. Liam pulled his son into a brief hug. "I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. And Ben, you did everything right. We're going to fix this." After Ben went to his room, Liam sat in his study, staring at the wall where his military commendations hung. 20 years of reading enemy intentions, and he'd missed the war being waged in his own home. He started with basic surveillance protocols. A camera on Ben's phone, tracking software on Sarah's devices, and audio recorders in the common areas of the house. Within 48 hours, he had enough information to destroy his world. Sarah was having an affair, but not just any affair. Her partner was Leo Hayes, Liam's former colleague from the agency. The recordings revealed that they had been together for 8 months, meeting in hotels, at Leo's apartment, and sometimes even in Liam's own house when he was traveling for work. But it was more than just sex. They were planning a future together. Leo had been feeding Sarah information about Liam's business, his clients, and his financial accounts. Mark was helping them. The planted evidence wasn't random harassment. It was part of a larger plan to destroy Liam's credibility and reputation. Mark had connections throughout Baltimore law enforcement. One drug arrest could spiral into allegations of Liam being an unfit father, questions about his business practices, and even suggestions that he was involved in Ben's drug dealing. They were systematically dismantling his life. Liam found the recordings of their planning sessions on Sarah's phone. Leo's voice was calm and professional. "We need him completely discredited," he said. "No custody, no business, no support network. Then Sarah files for divorce, and we split everything." Sarah's response chilled Liam to the bone. "Mark says he can make more charges stick if necessary. Maybe some domestic violence calls, evidence of drinking." Liam's got that military temper. "People will believe it." "What about Ben?" Leo asked. "He'll understand eventually," Sarah replied. "Once Liam's out of the picture, we can start over, just the 3 of us." Liam turned off the recording and sat in complete silence for 10 minutes. In Afghanistan, he learned that when someone declares war on you, the only response is total victory. No mercy, no forgiveness, just the complete destruction of your enemies. His family had just declared war. The arraignment was scheduled for Thursday morning. Liam spent Wednesday night preparing. Not legal defenses, he had something better than lawyers. On Thursday morning, Liam arrived at the courthouse carrying a single manila folder. Ben sat beside him, nervous but trusting his father's judgment. Sarah and Mark sat 3 rows behind them, both wearing expressions of grim satisfaction. The prosecutor began reading the charges. Possession with intent to distribute. Ben could face serious jail time. Liam stood up. Your Honor, before we proceed, I'd like to present evidence that these charges were fabricated. The prosecutor looked annoyed. Mr. Vance, this isn't the time for. Your Honor, Liam interrupted. I have video evidence of the arresting officer planting the evidence in my son's vehicle. The courtroom erupted. Liam heard Sarah gasp and Mark curse under his breath. The judge called for order. This is a serious allegation, Mr. Vance. Liam handed the folder to the bailiff. The video is clear and unedited. Detective Mark Palmer planted the evidence, then conducted an illegal search to discover it. As the video played on the courtroom screen, Liam watched Mark's face turn white. The evidence was undeniable. Ben's phone had captured everything from the perfect angle. The charges were dismissed within 20 minutes. Mark was escorted out by internal affairs investigators who'd been called to the courthouse. Sarah followed him, shooting Liam a look of pure hatred. Liam had won the first battle, but he knew the war was just beginning. That evening, Leo showed up at Liam's house. We need to talk, he said when Liam answered the door. I figured you'd come by eventually. Liam stepped aside to let him in. They stood in the living room where Liam had once considered this man a friend. You made a mistake today, Liam. Really? Which part? Saving my son from a felony conviction or exposing your girlfriend's corrupt brother? Sarah is not my girlfriend anymore. Leo's smile was cold. She's my partner. And you just cost us a lot of time and money. Time and money? Liam felt his hands clench. Did you really think this was about sex? Sarah's been feeding me information about your clients for months, Leo said. Corporate executives, politicians, dirty cops. Your files are worth millions to the right people. The pieces clicked into place. Liam's business specialized in investigating corruption. His files contained evidence that could destroy careers and bankrupt corporations. Leo hadn't seduced his wife. He'd recruited her. She's been copying everything? Liam asked. Everything. Client lists, evidence files, financial records. We've already sold information to 3 of your targets. They paid very well to know what you had on them. The drug thing was supposed to discredit you slowly, Leo continued. Make people question your judgment, your reliability. But you've accelerated our timeline. Now we have to be more direct. Meaning? Leo pulled out his phone and showed Liam a series of photographs. Pictures of Liam's office being searched, his files being copied, and his computer systems being hacked. We've been in your business for months, Liam. We know about the Vance Group accounts, the offshore holdings, the cash reserves. As of this morning, Sarah has legal access to all of it. Liam felt the walls closing in. She filed for divorce, Leo said. An emergency petition, claiming you threatened her and Ben, that you're unstable and dangerous. Mark provided supporting testimony about your violent reaction to Ben's arrest. Sarah's got a restraining order and control of all marital assets pending the hearing. The brilliance of it was almost admirable. They had turned his victory in court into evidence of his instability. The same man who'd exposed police corruption was now being painted as dangerous and unhinged. You've got 48 hours to clear out of this house, Leo said. Sarah's moving back in tomorrow with her new security detail. He headed for the door. Liam, you taught me well in Afghanistan. Always have an exit strategy. You just never thought you'd need one for your own family. After Leo left, Liam sat in his kitchen for an hour, planning. They'd been thorough, professional. But they made one critical error. They declared war on Liam Vance, and Liam Vance had never lost a war. Over the next week, the attacks escalated. Liam's clients began canceling contracts after receiving anonymous packages containing evidence of his supposed instability. His bank accounts were frozen. Mark's police contacts began investigating Liam for tax evasion and weapons violations. Liam moved into a small apartment, paying cash from emergency funds Leo hadn't discovered. He watched as Sarah moved back into their house with 3 armed contractors. Ben was staying with Sarah's parents, forbidden from contacting Liam under the restraining order. They were destroying him systematically, professionally. Liam had to admit it was impressive. But while they had been busy dismantling his life, Liam had been busy, too. Liam's counterattack began on a quiet Sunday morning 3 weeks later. Leo Hayes woke up in his downtown apartment to find Liam sitting in his kitchen, drinking coffee. Security systems were decent, Liam said conversationally. But you always did rely too much on technology over human intelligence. Leo reached for the gun he kept in a kitchen drawer. Looking for this? Liam held it up. How did you get in? Same way I got into enemy compounds in Fallujah, Liam replied. Same way I got into cartel safe houses in Colombia. You remember my skill set, Leo. Liam, whatever you're thinking. I'm thinking about Afghanistan, Liam said. Remember that village outside Kandahar? The one where our interpreter sold us out to the Taliban. Liam's voice was perfectly calm. You wanted to just transfer him. I wanted him dead. You said I was too brutal. Was it different, though? Because he betrayed us to our enemies just like you did. And just like him, you're going to pay for it. Liam moved faster than Leo could react. One moment they were talking. The next, Leo was on the floor with Liam's knee on his throat. Do you remember what I did to that Taliban cell leader who tortured our people? Liam asked. I'm older now, but my hands still work the same way. Leo nodded frantically. Good. You have 6 hours. Liam's next stop was the Baltimore Police Department. Mark Palmer was at his desk, suspended pending an internal affairs investigation but still defiant. You're not supposed to be here, Vance. Restraining order. Remember, the restraining order applies to my wife and son. Not you, Liam said. He sat down across from Mark's desk. We need to discuss your retirement. Mark laughed. Retirement? I'm 15 years on the force. I'm not going anywhere. Liam placed a tablet on the desk. Press play. Security footage filled the screen. Mark taking money from Leo, Mark discussing ways to fabricate evidence against Liam, Mark talking about eliminating the problem permanently. Where did you get this? Leo's apartment, Liam said. Professional contractors always document their operations for liability purposes. You should have known that. Liam leaned back in his chair. Here's your choice, Mark. Resign from the force today, or I release this video to Internal Affairs, the FBI, and every news station in Baltimore. You're bluffing. Am I? You planted drugs on a minor. You took bribes from a foreign contractor. You conspired to commit fraud and identity theft. How many federal crimes is that, detective? Mark's face had gone pale. What do you want? Your resignation today, and a full confession about everything you did to help Leo and my wife. I won't do it. Liam smiled, and Mark felt his blood freeze. Then we'll do this the hard way. Liam pulled out his phone and made a call. It's done. Release everything. Within an hour, Mark's phone was ringing constantly. Internal Affairs, the FBI, local news stations. Someone had leaked not just the video but a complete dossier of Mark's corruption going back years. By evening, Mark Palmer was under federal indictment. But Liam saved the best for last. Sarah was hosting a dinner party at their house. Liam's house, when he arrived. He could see her through the windows, entertaining friends, playing the role of the wronged wife whose dangerous husband had threatened her family. Liam knocked on the front door. One of Leo's contractors answered. Mrs. Vance isn't seeing visitors. That's fine, Liam replied. She can see me from in there. He held up a speaker and pressed play. Sarah's voice filled the evening air, loud enough for everyone inside to hear. Liam's so stupid, she said. He has no idea what we're doing. Leo says we'll have enough to disappear to somewhere with no extradition treaty. The Caymans, maybe, or Costa Rica. The dinner party went silent. Liam continued playing recordings. Sarah discussing how to steal his money, how to turn Ben against him, how she had never loved Liam and had only married him for security. The front door opened, and Sarah stepped out, her face white with fury. How dare you? How dare I what? Play back your own words. Liam turned off the speaker. Your friends are hearing exactly who you really are, Sarah. No more pretending. The contractor moved toward Liam. I wouldn't, Liam said calmly. I know who you work for, where you live, and what you did in Syria that got you discharged. Touch me, and that information goes to very interested parties in the Middle East. The man stepped back. Sarah's guests were leaving through the back door, fleeing the awkward scene. This is my house, Sarah said. Actually, it's not. Liam handed her a legal document. It turns out when you commit fraud and identity theft, any assets you gain through those crimes are subject to immediate seizure. The house, the cars, the bank accounts, all frozen as of this morning. Oh, and Sarah, Leo's gone. Disappeared about 6 hours ago, actually. Took his money and ran. Didn't even leave you a note. Liam watched her face crumble as the reality hit her. Leo had abandoned her. Her brother was facing federal charges. Her friends had heard her true thoughts about them. Everything she had built was collapsing. Why? She whispered. Because you betrayed me. Liam's voice was perfectly steady. You betrayed our son. You chose money over family and lies over truth. And I don't forgive betrayal. Ben appeared in the doorway. He'd been staying with Sarah's parents, but Liam had arranged for him to be here for this moment. Mom! Ben's voice was small and confused. Is it true what Dad's saying about you and Uncle Mark? Sarah looked at her son, then at Liam, then at the contractors who were already packing their equipment. Ben, you don't understand. I understand enough, Ben said. He walked over to Liam. Dad, can I come home now? Liam put his arm around his son. Yeah, we're going home. As they walked away, Liam heard Sarah calling after them, but he didn't turn around. He had learned long ago that when you burn bridges, you don't look back to watch them fall. 3 months later, Liam had rebuilt his business, stronger than before. His reputation for loyalty and integrity was unshakable. Everyone knew what he had done to protect his son and punish those who betrayed him. Mark Palmer was serving 8 years in federal prison. Leo Hayes had fled to a non-extradition country but lived in constant fear. Liam's network of contacts was extensive, and his memory was long. Sarah had moved in with her parents and worked as a clerk in a small law office. She tried to reconcile with Ben, but the boy had heard too much and seen too much. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Liam kept one photo on his new desk, Ben's high school graduation. Accepted to Georgetown on a full scholarship. The kid had character, integrity, and strength. Everything Liam had hoped to build in his son. In the photo, Ben was smiling. He had learned what it meant to have a father who would go to war for him, who would never stop fighting for what was right. Liam had learned something, too. Family wasn't about blood or marriage certificates. Family was about loyalty, trust, and a willingness to sacrifice everything for the people who mattered. Everyone else was just another enemy target. And Liam Vance had never missed a target in his life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.